Canelo was seen in the gym working hard and focused after footage of the two appeared. When asked about it, he answered, "Enjoy," suggesting that he is unfazed and ready for his own difficulties. Music, everyone had fun in the interim. Recently, Shakur Stevenson talked about meeting Floyd. Terence Crawford and Mayweather discussed their respect for Floyd and how their relationship has become stronger because Mayweather enjoys being among real people. Shakur went on to say, "We're so close now," highlighting their growing friendship and mutual respect within the boxing world. "I know you put that together. You played," he said, referring to Floyd May and Terence Crawford together. "There were a couple viral moments after you played the game and positioned yourself to kind of create a moment. I get the impression every time I talk to you that you're so focused and don't feel anything while you're with everyone in the gym and you have to complete them. What kind of environment is it outside?" Spar, it's just a feeling. If you were to ask me this question in the past, I probably would have said, "Oh, it was so fantastic, it was." But now I'm kind of accustomed to saying, "Yes, it feels so normal, honestly," which is why Floyd and I are so close now, because it's... Terence Crawford's tactful approach to calling for a fight was addressed by Canelo Alvarez, who is largely considered the face of boxing, saying, "I'm a genuine person, and he likes genuine people around." Canelo accepted Crawford's desire to fight him, pointing out that Crawford has avoided trash talk and negativity in his markings. In order to demonstrate his openness and maintain his standing as a renowned boxer, Canelo highlighted his earned position by saying, "You never know, maybe one day I wake up and want to fight that guy." Champion acknowledging the accomplishments of Crawford while implying that anything is possible in the future, Canelo maintains his composure and respects all fighters and the integrity of the sport. He went on the ring and asked Atlas, "What does that mean?" He said, "You're the most overrated Mexican champion in history," adding, "That Salader ___ is crazy, and you think he knows boxing __." They said all the crazy things about me going up and having a hard time when Terence Crawford claimed that he had moved up and won, and Canelo had moved up and lost. The difference is that he gained weight and lost it. Canelo Alvarez actually advanced and won, moving up several weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he went up and beat K, but he went up again and lost to B. I don't think that was a strong argument because I went up weight and won. However, Terence Crawford, who didn't actually have much of a resume, advances to 154 and wins 115 to 113, but it was just an 11-0. However, there is a more than M that desires in the past. Canelo said that he would not lose weight to face Terence Crawford, stating that Crawford wanted the fight more than him. He also noted that people would be critical of him for taking on someone too tiny and stressed that Crawford was a different kind of fighter, which made the matchup unappealing. Canelo must realize that he is a different fighter now. He is not the same guy who is looking for early knockouts and keeps a pace and pressure on you. He throws 30 punches around, and you are not the same guy. Telling everyone you're going to knock them out, and then going into what we have 6 straight decisions now, he consistently scores a knockdown. As far as I'm concerned, he's been fighting for a long time and has a lot of fights, but he doesn't have the same desire or drive to take the chances against these younger, bigger guys because he is fighting younger, bigger guys. You also need to keep that in mind when he fought Canelo, and he was like standing right in front of them. Power is still there, but the real difference is the pace and the ability to push and continue.
Venga. 5, venga. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eso.
I told someone the other day that he may get on the scale when he was 166, 167 fighting Canelo, and people wouldn't believe how torn up and sliced up he was. In other words, if you see him in person and he gets on a scale or anything, you wouldn't think that's his weight. He will continue to look, he won't seem to be overweight. Terence Crawford will have a strong appearance. Crawford, Terence Canelo Alvarez has long stressed the significance of weight classes in boxing, believing that each fighter has an ideal weight at which they perform best in an interview. I think he would be Canelo, even though I've been saying he fought him. Go watch an interview after the fight and I literally said I think Terence Crawford would beat Canelo, okay? Canelo said Terence is in his weight divisions for a reason, implying that Crawford performs best at 147 pounds. This supports Canelo's theory that increasing one's weight might affect a boxer's effectiveness. Canelo said that because everyone wanted to fight him, it wasn't a big thing when Trent called him out for a fight. Legend of boxing Floyd Mayweather has also contributed to the conversation by sharing his own thoughts on his battle with Canelo. Canelo was at his best when they fought, according to Mayweather, while older people were nuts. Canelo claimed that because I was an old man when I fought Canelo and he was in his prime, I wasn't actually in my prime. He said, I was about 40 years old when I cooked this dude, and even though I'm old, I have a lot of experience, and I'm gonna go out there and just show him that this is the elite level, and there is something totally different that I was in my prime when I fought Canelo. Implying that Canelo is not as strong as some may believe given his unbeaten record and ring experience, Mayweather's remarks add an intriguing dimension to the discussion. Canelo has minimized the significance of Crawford calling him out for a fight, saying that everyone wants to fight him and that it's not a big deal. He also emphasized that he is open to fights that make sense for his legacy and career. Canelo said that I'm in if the money is right since I dislike. He believes that Crawford's style may not fit with his favorite matchups, therefore he fights men like him because he moves a lot and the fight is dull. I don't think I've matured, even though I think he's a great fighter. However, I find that fighting in my weight class is easy for me, so if the money is right, I'm in because I don't like fighting guys like Crawford because they move a lot and the fight isn't that great. I saw Crawford in the last fight and he didn't. He doesn't move that much anymore. So yes, if the money is right, why not how you think he did at that weight at 154? You know that they have weight classes for a reason, and you need to ask Crawford how he is different. I know that in his mind, he believes he can do anything he wants because he is a very good and talented MH fighter, and I like the way he fights, but yeah, that's why there are weight classes. Canelo has voiced concerns about. Canelo's doubts about Crawford's preparedness to face him in the ring are highlighted in this critique. Are you sick of people asking you about Terence but saying, I liked her, but no, I always say, I respect Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but if you look at his record, he only defeated one good fighter, like Eros SP, but other than that, Don't you think he's betting on other great fighters like Spence? He did a tremendous job with Spence, making it appear almost effortless. I thought DK was a strong fighter, but you never know what you'll see in boxing in reaction to Canelo's comments.
Crawford, all in the one place, and I know you put that together. You've played the game, and you put yourself in a position there to sort of create a moment. And there was a few viral moments from that in the clips outside. What's that sort of environment like for you? I get the feeling every time I speak to you, you're so locked in. Do you not feel anything?
In defense of his fighter's record, Crawford's trainer Brian B.A.C. McIntyre said that Crawford's domination made his opponents seem unimpressive, which is evidence of his extraordinary talent. Crawford, according to BAC, makes everyone seem normal. Is his ability to make any fighter seem normal so that he may fight. This defense emphasizes the confidence in Crawford's superior abilities and versatility. Not to be disrespectful to Canelo, but I've stated this the last couple times and I haven't been against property, so you have to prove to me that you can defeat Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure out against you. I'm going with Terence Crawford, big weight jump, a dangerous fight. I know you can defeat me. According to Showbiz The Adult, Terence Crawford is an all-time great and the weight class difference won't have a big impact on his ability to dominate. A few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford explained his motivation for wanting to take on Alvarez Canelo. He is the most decorated boxer in the world, and I would simply want the chance to compete against him. He is the finest fighter in my generation. As you can see, his main motivation isn't money. He did say that it would be the biggest fight, which you want a big fight, but I don't think he meant financially, even though the money comes okay. Instead, he's saying that he wants to test himself against the best, and I believe he's telling the truth here. Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is actually, the war room can support him since he only challenges himself against the greatest. Mikey Garcia offered his thoughts on a possible bout between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, highlighting the difficulties of size and weight. He noted that Canelo weighs 168 pounds, while Crawford recently moved up to 154 pounds, struggling there. Garcia acknowledged Crawford's superior fighting skill set and said Canelo isn't going down below 166 at most. He emphasized the difference between Crawford's technical skill and Canelo's physical advantages, implying that the latter's domination stems from his sheer strength and stature, which must be coupled. How do you now perceive that? Although Crawford is one of the finest fighters I've ever seen, I told him yesterday when I saw him that I'm not a huge supporter of that current matchmaking since there are too many weight classes apart. Last night at the dinner, I was thinking, dude, you're a badass man. You've been a badass. You don't always get the recognition because of politics and boxing and the occasional favoritism, but he really does have the skills and he's a great fighter. He's proven it multiple times, obviously. Canelo is currently fighting at 168, and Crawford recently moved up to 154, and he had some issues with that in that fight. Where do you intend to go? 164, 65, 66. Canelo will not be able to come to. Canelo 160. Canelo won't go down, maybe 166 max if he agrees. I believe Canelo will win that 5 based just on size, power, and talent. In my opinion, a car has superior skill, but the size differential will be the decisive element. Jake Paul, a boxer and social media influencer, has also commented on the possible bout, saying that fans have never saw Crawford perform at such a high level and that he considers the matchup fascinating because of the weight class disparity.
When you're around everybody in the gym and you've got to do them spars?
It kind of just feels, back in the day, like if you asked me this question, I probably would tell you oh, it was so amazing. But now I'm kind of so used to
regular.
I believe Terence has the skill and is a little younger than Canelo, so if I had to wager on it, I would probably choose Terence because I think Canelo destroys him. However, we haven't seen Terence go up there, so it's intriguing because of the weight class. Really, I do think that, but most people don't know that I don't think that happens. I mean, Terence is exceptionally skilled at adjusting inside the ring. We'll see that when the fight takes place, but I think it will be much more interesting than most people think. Who was the hardest puncher you've ever faced? ESPN's Mike Coper reports that the highly awaited fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is likely to take place in September. Fans can anticipate 2 Canelo fights this year, with Crawford possibly leading the lad. This strategic timing also evokes nostalgia for classic Friday night fights, adding a unique twist to the modern boxing spectacle. There is speculation as to why a major card is scheduled for Friday, May 2nd, possibly avoiding competition with Canelo's preferred Cinco de Mayo weekend fight. There is no doubt that a Canelo versus Crawford matchup would electrify boxing fans worldwide. Do you feel like a Terence Crawford fight? I can't wait till Saturday. I can tell he wants to fight because he has made it clear. Do you think that fights like that add value to your legacy, or do you think that it isn't worth it to you? Every fight I've had throughout my career has helped me create a different and better legacy. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter, and he's a good fighter, but as I mentioned earlier, he attends weight classes for a reason. I'm totally focused on Bunga, and after that, you never know what will happen. However, a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence "Bud" Crawford explained his motivation for wanting to fight Canelo Alvarez. I just want the chance to fight the most accomplished fighter in my generation, out there, and I would just like to fight another grade for a very noble reason. That is, a reason I can support because, as you can see, his main motivation is money. The War Room can support BAC because, in a recent interview, he expressed confidence about the Canelo versus Crawford fight, dismissing everything else. It will be the biggest fight, which you want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes okay. Instead, he's saying that he wants to test himself against the best, and I think he's telling the truth here. Of course you want big money and stuff like that. Worries about disparities in weight. If you accept the fight, get in there and fight for him, he said, emphasizing that genuine fighters concentrate on abilities rather than excuses. Boxing is about skill, not weight restrictions or needless complaints. If you go 154 and win the title, that's 3 times Super MHM. Then I said, Chase, you're a super great guy. Come on, Canelo, 160. If he can go in there with Charat and win his next 2 bouts while he still has age on his side, then maybe he will move up again, attempting to pursue greatness. But in my opinion, he has already accomplished something unprecedented. Therefore, Charlo doesn't want any of that Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is a great fighter, and he's a good fighter, but as I mentioned earlier, He's a weight glasses for a reason, so I'm focused. I can see that he wants to fight, but do fights like that help your legacy? Or do you feel that it's not worth it to you? Every fight I've had in my career has changed my legacy. Completely on bunga, and you never know what could occur. Yes. Next, the possible bout between Canelo and Crawford has become one of the most anticipated events in boxing. Given the different styles and weight classes of the two fighters, some fans are so sure of their predictions that they are placing large bets on the result. For example, boxing commentator Showbiz The Adult has reportedly wagered $30,000 on this fight, highlighting the high stakes and broad interest in this possible confrontation. Examine the odds that were predicted. According to one of the odds projectors, Canelo is starting as the favorite, 13. Crawford is 100%, that's really close to 50-50. Canelo Alvarez is the favorite, 185, according to another, while Crawford is the underdog, just plus 55. You guys mean to tell me that you believe it's 50-50? Well, if those are the odds on my bookmaker, I'm going to be max betting Canelo Alvarez on day one. I'm going to empty my Canelo Alvarez account. None of those _under requires me to wager on KO. I'll empty my $30,000 if you guys believe it's that close. I can donate a __. That concludes today's video. Stay tuned till the next one. I was going to wager on Crawford since I believe he will be the overwhelming underdog.